What would you say your core skill set is?
Like, I feel like if I want something, I can warp the world to let me have it.
Music labels are saying AI music generators are a direct threat to the industry.
You had an offer for an acquisition that would have made you $1 million. Why would you turn that down?
I don't want to sell something that I'm not done with. I was putting in 1 hour and I was getting like 100% smarter like every day. Because the thing with tech is it's so new and ever changing. There's always something new to learn. So I was like, yo, this is really, really, really exciting. If someone's good at something, that means like I think I can be good at it too. Like there's no reason I can't be good at it. I had promised myself that day. Like I literally probably told every single person that was close to me at the time here, I'm gonna be a portfolio founder. Like just watch.
So Arib, welcome to the podcast.
What's up, guys?
Do you want to give an introduction for yourself?
Yeah, my name's Arib, 19-year-old from the Bay, building AI tools. Right now, working on this company called Musicfy, which is building AI tools for musicians and artists around the world. And we have like over 1 million users. And before Musicfy, I was working at a company called Buildspace. You may have heard of it. Worked with this really cool guy named Farza. And now I'm probably the youngest portfolio company at Founders Inc., which is pretty cool.
The youngest founder or the
youngest founder.
Youngest founder.
Yeah, youngest founder. The
Nice.
portfolio.
So 10 minutes ago, you said success is measured by how many podcasts you go on per month. Anything over 1 podcast per month counts as a success. What does that even mean?
It was a joke. I was like, dude, I've done like 4 podcasts now in the past 3 months, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, which ones?
I did this one with these people from CrowdPad. I forgot the name of the podcast, but
Okay.
I did one with them. I did one when I was in Dubai. We just didn't release it yet. It's gonna get released like next week or something like that.
Damn,
And then
that's crazy.
I did one with a friend like a while ago. That's it.
Bro, you should get on the Carrot one.
What's the
Carrot
creator?
financial guys.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna just hopefully span it out over the rest of my life in these podcasts. Not so many in such a short time frame. But yeah.
That's tough.
So I think it was almost exactly a year ago, and then a few days that we met, and it was Web3 SF.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the story of how you ended up in F-Inc?
I mean, it's quite the story. I mean, do you want to talk about when I met you, or the story of me getting in?
Aren't they related?
I'm pretty sure
They're
they both
They're
happened on the same day.
they're not directly related or anything. But I would say like, how did I end up here? It's pretty simple. Before tech, I was really interested in sports, and I was playing a lot of soccer, and I was just trying to like get really good and try to go professional in sports because I didn't really like the idea of tech at all. Like imagine sitting at a desk and typing and earning 150K and then going home. Like I didn't find that exciting.
And no code experience, right?
Yeah, I'd never coded, nothing. And this is like when I was 17, like a year ago, 17, 18. Actually, it's definitely when I was 17, so it was a year and a half ago. And I was like, okay, cool. And at like the age of 16, 17, you can kind of tell like, okay, either you're going to be the best in the world or you're not going to be anything special.
When you're 16 or 17, you can
Yeah,
tell.
I feel like you can tell like if you're playing with a specific sport.
Yeah, especially as an athlete.
for
you
sports.
can
Yeah,
tell.
you can tell like the skill gap, right?
Yeah.
And then you realize like why there's a skill gap, and it's because like the people on the top, like they actually like live and breathe sports. Like they're playing. So for example, let's say I was like okay at soccer. I was decent. I would say I was good. And what I realized was like I would spend like 10 to 20, 30 hours a week just playing soccer, and I would maybe get 0.1% better in like across the board, right? But compared to like these other athletes that are at the top of their game, they consistently get 0.1% better every week, and they're willing to put in way more work consistently. And I was like, yeah, this is like really, it takes a toll on your body. I was also like, okay, this is like not ideal because like I realized even if I do make it to the MLS or whatever it is, like I'm not gonna earn a lot of money. Like even MLS players earning like what a million or something like that.
If
a
that, I
year.
mean, you got to be.
Yeah, even $1 million is like a lot for a player, right? So I was like, okay, this is probably not worth it. It's not ideal. So how do I make money very quickly in something that's very exciting and like where my growth curve is not like 0.1% a week? Like maybe I can learn faster and grow faster. So the ideal situation for that is like anytime you do something new, the first time you do it, you like improve by 50%, and you can improve the next week by like 45%, right? So you grow really quickly. So like that's why I really had this phase of like doing a bunch of new things. So for example, like I did stocks when I was younger. I really enjoyed it for like the first like 8 months, 9 months. I learned a lot. I did a lot of investments in like random OTC companies, which did well. I did a clothing brand. I did a jewelry store. Like I did a bunch of things.
You did a jewelry store?
Yeah, I did a jewelry
new to
store.
me.
It was called
What?
24vintage.com. I don't know if it's still up, but
Tough
What
as
were you
hell.
selling?
I don't think it's still up, but it
What were you
was
selling?
men's jewelry. You can look it up on my LinkedIn.
Like rings and like
No,
what?
no, necklaces, like men's necklaces. We had like a whole TikTok. I still have like 300.
You're selling the domain?
No, I took it down like a year ago. But if you go to my LinkedIn, you can.
You want to buy it?
But
We'll talk about it another time.
yeah, it was pretty cool. Like I did a bunch of things because like the first couple of weeks of everything was really exciting. You're growing really quickly, and then it gets to the point where like a couple of these things were like really boring after a couple of weeks, and I was like, okay, this is not the move. And then sports was like the big one where I was like, okay, I've been doing this all my life, and now it's like I'm not really improving unless I put in like 100 hours a week, and then I get 0.1% better. I can't do this anymore. So I decided that I'm gonna just drive to San Francisco and figure it out. Literally, like Eric, you guys have talked to Eric Jung, like he drove from wherever he drove from, but it was like the same type of idea. I was like, I'm just gonna drive into the city and figure it out. And
Yeah, but you live in San Jose.
yeah, but still like
gosh.
hour away, and I'm like 16, 17. I don't know anyone in SF at the time either.
Hour and a half with traffic.
Yeah, hour and a half. So there was this one thing that I did. So at this time I was investing in crypto. Like I had a lot of crypto holdings, and I did an internship at a company before, and then I did like 2 or 3 internships like back to back, like when I was 16 and 15, and just like hustling, working with these really cool founders at Web3 companies, and then at the same time I was investing in Solana, and I went to my first conference in Austin called Consensus.
Oh, you were at Consensus?
Yeah,
Cheer.
I was in Consensus. That's where I actually worked at. Like that's how I got connected to like the open pool dudes and ended up working there. So I went to that. Really interesting how I ended up going actually. Like so I had gotten a free ticket, and this is still at the age where I was like I didn't have a lot of money, so I had to figure out a way to go to this conference. And I was like 16, and I just had a free ticket just because like I had wanted in something, and I was like, okay, what's the way to go to this conference? And what I did was there was this app that you had to download to be a part of the conference, and I saw that there was 16,000 people that were going to this conference. So then I found all their LinkedIns, like it was on the app, like you could connect with these people in person. So they had an app for it. It was really cool. So I DM'd every single one of them, like just straight down. I was like, hey, I'm a 16-year-old based in the Bay. I don't really have a lot of money, but I have a free ticket to this conference. I would love to go. And if you pay for my flights and hotel, I will work for you for free. And dude, I did this for, I swear to God, I emailed like at least 2,000 or 3,000 people. And one dude responded. And it was this random dude who runs a healthcare company in like Minnesota or something, right? And it's like surgical eyewear tools. And I was like, oh, this is so random. He was like, yo, like, you know what? Like, just send us your name and your like license and everything, and we'll book it for you on our company card. And I was like, what? So this guy booked my flight and hotel for me. And then I went to the conference. It was great. I met a lot of people came back, and like I chatted with this guy, really cool dude. And I was like, damn, bro, like because of this guy, like I went to this conference and like I got that next gig, which was open pool. I was like, that's really cool. Like when I grow up, I definitely want to do something where I can give back in some way. But like shout out to that guy. Like he knows who he is. Like I'll probably send him this video, but shout out to him because he definitely like kicked off a lot of things for me. Random dude I don't talk to him like every day or anything. I've never
That's
talked to him
legit
since.
the only response you got?
Dude,
Out
of 3,000 people, one person responded. It's really nice,
crazy.
dude. Yeah, awesome guy. So after that, I come back, work at open pool. That was really cool. Then after that, I invested in Solana, and I was like, cool, $250. It's really cool. Next 3 months, it goes down to like 50, right? So I lose like a lot of money.
I invested at 192, so it's like
Yeah,
wrecked by Solana.
it's quite tough. And then so I was like, okay, I've lost a lot of the money that I've invested in things too now, so I should probably figure out how to make more money. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna drive to SF. So I drove to SF because there was a Solana hackathon.
And this is last year now. We're talking about
It's
August
last year.
22.
This was last year, like I'd say a year and like 2-3 months ago. so yeah, 15, 16 months ago. So I drive to SF to this hackathon, which is at there's like some co-working spaces by Embarcadero, like right next to ABC Center, like whatever it is, like the news place. And I go to this hackathon and see all these people on their computer developing stuff, right? Like deving.
The way you said developing, bro.
I like how you said that.
Yeah, and the thing is like my actual conception of like who's a developer was like a random like brown dude sitting in a basement, like, you know, like has a cigarette like thing.
Why the cigarette?
I don't know. You know, just like that's what my conception was of like what a developer was.
Instead of cigarette,
you with DevRels.
I thought of like what is that called? Bone Vita.
What?
The chocolate milk Indian people drink.
Why?
Because their mom made that for them. They're in the basement drinking milk.
Yeah. So whatever it was, but I was like, yeah, that's my conception. But when I went to this hackathon, I met like some really like young people, like 15 to like 25, like hackers that are just building things just because they enjoy building them. And I was like the first time I've ever seen that. I thought like usually like, I actually didn't know that people just did things for fun, like in the tech space. Like I thought it was like
That's
a
a good
very,
point.
Yeah.
you know, it's like, it looks like from the outside, it looks like, oh shit, okay, you're going to write code, you're going to go home, sleep, write code, go home, sleep.
I agree with you.
And,
yeah.
but these guys were like, okay, look, I want to build this thing called Mindflow. I was like, what's that? And they were like, oh, we're going to build this app where you can meditate and you can earn crypto from it. And I was like, oh, this is cool.
Wait, was that Julian's thing? Or was that something
No,
else?
no, this is someone else. I actually met Julian in Consensus when I went.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Small
and he
world.
told me, actually, this is really random, but I talked to him for like 5 minutes, like randomly. I was like, yo, what do you do? He's like, I run this company and blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, yo, if you're based in the Bay, you should come by this place called Founders Inc. So that's the first time I've ever
when was this?
heard that.
Yeah.
This was in Consensus last year. And he mentioned it to me, and I was like, oh, I'll hit you up. I got his phone number. And then, yeah, so this comes into the story later, actually. So I'm at this hackathon here, and then these guys are like, it's 3 days long. So the first day I'm there, I come back the second day. It's cool. We're just hacking. Like, to be honest, I was just like spinning up like Python, like random like courses on Coursera and stuff like that, just getting started because I'd never dev before. But it was like really inspiring to have like all these young people around me that were good at it. So that meant like I'm also very competitive. So if someone's good at something, that means like I think I can be good at it too, right? Like there's no reason I can't be good at it then, right?
Bro, I remember that hackathon I did last November, the one in Berkeley. You were like, bro, I'm gonna be better than all these people. I was like, hey man, they're just sitting
You
there.
won too.
What?
No, bro, I got robbed, bro.
Yeah, he got robbed.
I got
He should've
robbed
won, in
out
my
of
opinion.
victory,
That's
bro.
crazy.
I got robbed.
He almost got an acquisition offer out of it though.
Yeah, bro. But besides the point. So where was I at? I don't remember.
The hackathon, you were
Yeah, so
Python.
it's the second day of the
courses.
hackathon. I'm doing these courses, learning about all this stuff. And the two dudes that I've been hanging out with that past 2 days, they were like, hey, can you drive us to Fort Mason? There's like this thing that we want to go to, and we're gonna call an Uber. And I was like, oh, I got you. Like I like to, like I feel like there's a lot of serendipity in this, where it's like a lot of people have done nice things for me, so I try to do nice things back, like all the time. So I was like, sure, why not? Like let's do it. So we drove out here into the parking lot here. Random building. Like why would someone have an office here? First of all, like you can't tell, right?
fact.
So it's like I'm like, okay, they're probably going to like a restaurant to eat
I
or
thought
something.
we were going to some side building the first time we came here.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so they're saying something, and I was like, yeah, cool. Like, I drop them off, and then I'm looking around in the car. There's no water, and I'm about to drive back like an hour, 30 minutes. So I was like, yo, they were walking away, and I was like, yo, do you guys know if there's water inside? They're like, yeah, come inside.
And there isn't.
Dude, wild. Also wild.
You came in for the only thing not here.
Yeah.
We got sparkling water.
There's opportunity.
There's
There's no water.
So, yeah, so I was like, yo, yeah, I'll come inside with you guys. And I paid
Wait,
for
was this Web3SF or was this
No,
before?
no, this is way before.
Okay.
So then I park. I pay for parking. You know, like I walk in with these guys. They like go over here, down here, and then they walk off.
That's crazy. In the pod room, there's right there.
No, like outside in the yeah. So we go up
I was thinking that
to the second. The first place I entered was the second floor of Founders Inc. And I was like, there was no signs or anything to tell you what this is, right? So I just like walk in.
Still none.
Now there is, but there wasn't before. So I walked in and I saw like all the way in the back of the back wall of Founders Inc. There was like a banner that said Nights and Weekends S1 that was like Galaxy vibes, and then there was a tall brown Pakistani dude just like standing there. And to be honest, like I think this is like one of the key things here too. It's like, this guy looked like me, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. Like this guy that looks like me.
He's not talking about.
For the record, he does not look like him.
Sure, but it's like this guy looks somewhat like whatever it is, right? Like this guy looks interesting. So we all three of us walk up to him. He's like, yo, are you guys in nights and weekends? So like because I didn't want to get kicked out, because I didn't know like, oh, it's like a private thing. I was like, yeah, sure. And
then you got a hoodie.
So I said, yeah. He hands me a hoodie. He hands me the two other dudes hoodies as well. And he looked at me and he was like, I don't remember seeing you on the Zoom calls. And I was like, oh, I just had my camera off the entire time.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Thinking on his
so
feet.
then I think like at that point, Farzad knew that I was bullshitting, but he's like, okay, let's see what this kid, let's see what he's up to.
See what he's got.
So, and that's, so he hands me the hoodie and then he connects me with Aleem, and Aleem's like,
that's the craziest, he like the first person?
Yeah, first person.
That's wild.
So he's like, yo, Aleem, can you put these guys in the WhatsApp group chat? Put us in the WhatsApp group chat. And I'm like, yo, you're cool. How old are you? He's like, I'm 16. I was like, what do you do? He's like, yeah, I work at this company, Buildspace. Like
I forgot Aleem worked at Buildspace.
Yeah. I was like, yo, shit, bro. If there's a 16-year-old working here, like, why am I not working here? Like, I'm 17. Like, this guy's beating me. Like, I should be here too.
You're behind.
Yeah, literally.
That's
like,
a crazy thing to think the first time you meet someone, you're just like, why are you ahead
I'm very,
of me?
very competitive. Like, so as soon as that I heard that click, I'm like, okay, how the fuck do I end up working here?
Yeah.
It was like the first, like, but like I didn't say it or anything, right? Like, it's just like my mind is starting to like think of ways now. So then, he hands me the hoodie, and I was like, oh shit. So this is Buildspace is like a nice clothing company. Just because
you thought Buildspace was
the
a
hoodie
clothing
was
company?
such nice quality.
Hoodie is fire.
The hoodie was such nice quality, and I was like, oh, this is sick. And then, but I mean, it was very quickly to realize like it wasn't, because you like saw these people hacking on things. You just talked to them. They're like, oh, we're building this. I was like, oh, this is sick. So yeah, that was day one. And then in the middle of day one, so I got water. There was water somewhere.
Oh shit, you got water?
Yeah, I got water.
Glad you figured that out.
Which was fire. And then I came upstairs, because upstairs there was like supposed to be lunch or something. So I woke upstairs and I was like, oh shit, like this is nice. Like super open.
You're talking about Founders Inc.'s office.
Yeah. So I came to the third floor. And yeah, I remember I was walking, and then I was with so I was walking around. I went to the kitchen, got something to eat. It was really sick. I was just looking at like other people's computers. I was like trying to like understand what the deal is. Like, what are these people? Are they all working together on some company, or what is everyone doing? So the first person I met from Founders Inc. was Alex. Actually, no. So the person that opened the door for me when I was coming upstairs was Furkan, and I didn't know who Furkan was. So when he opened the door, he stared at me, and like I didn't know I thought he like worked here or something. So I just like walked right past him. And he just continued to stare at me. I was like, okay, sus. Like, and I just walked straight to the kitchen.
Crazy.
So I didn't know who
work here. So
yeah, I didn't know who Furkan was. Really cool dude, which I learned later. But yeah, so after that, I met Alex, because I was eating, and I like sat down, and I was like, oh, dude, what are you working on? And Alex was really like hyped up about talking about.
Oh, yeah, he had that social.
He was working on Pat's Audio at the time, right? And he was like, yeah, I'm like, I just graduated college. I'm building this thing called Pat's Audio. Like this cool like audio podcast note thing, and I was like, this is pretty sick. Like, yeah, he was really cool, and like I think that was one of the first times where I saw someone like really young, really excited about something that they had built, and like really passionate about telling me. And like I was like, this is sick. Like I want to have this type of passion in something that I built too. So then, yeah, fast forward the end of the day, I'm like, okay, everyone's going home, but it turns out the event is 3 days long, and this is just day one. I was like, okay, I can go home today, and I can just come back tomorrow and just get to talk to the other people here. So that's what I did. So then I drove home like 8 p.m. I get home at 9:30. It's an hour, 30-minute drive. Go to sleep, wake up the next morning, I come. And the goal for the next day was ideally like I wanted to talk to as many people as I could. And then also like at this time, they were like, okay, by day 3, you have to have a goal that you have to hit. So I was like, okay, I'm going to just pick up a random goal. Like, let's say just like I want to raise $100 for like one of our funds or something. So that was like pretty much not like I didn't have anything specifically to build. So I was just like, it was like a random goal. But the second day I talked to Sharif, and Sharif introduced me to this thing at the time called Midjourney, which a couple of you guys may know. And he was like tripping over this like thing on Discord. He was like, yo, have you guys seen? I was like, yo, what are you building? He was like, I'm building this thing called Dbuild. But have you guys seen this like text to image thing? And I was like, oh, sick. And he's showing us like, give me a prompt. And I'm like saying like, a man riding a horse with a yellow hat. And in seconds it's generated. And I'm like, yo, dude, this is actually like really cool. Like this stuff, like you don't see, like it didn't even exist before that time, right? And to be honest, the people here are the first adopters in a lot of new tech, so you see it a lot before like bigger markets. So like this is super early on, and I was like, yeah, this is really sick. So he showed us that, and that was one of the people I talked to. I talked to a bunch of people that day, but yeah. So I remember Sharif being like one of the main people. Learned a lot from him, and just like that was really exciting to see another just like dude just building like what he's passionate about. So then I guess fast forward how like. There's a bunch. I could talk about the story for like a couple days if I wanted to, because there's so many different finite details that I care about. But fast forward, day 3 comes by. I'm like, yo, this is like awesome. Like I want to be here like forever. Like this is great. I'm learning a lot, and like in the analogy that I used originally at the beginning, where it's like in sports, you kind of have like after a certain point, it's like you put in 100 hours to learn like 0.1%. I was putting in 1 hour and I was getting like 100% smarter like every day. Because the thing with tech is it's so new and ever changing. There's always something new to learn. So I was like, yo, this is really exciting. So I wanted to come back every day. And then after 3 days, Buildspace IRL was over. I connected with Farza. I was like, yo, you're building something really cool. Yeah. So after that, I was like, okay, how do I get back? And then I saw that they were doing this thing called Web3SF like couple months
That's where we
later.
met.
Like I think a month later. But before then, you guys had events already, like every Friday or something like that, or you had some type.
I wasn't around.
There's some type of a event that I would just come to.
There were ship-its.
Yeah, ship-its. I came to a couple of the ship-its, and then the main thing I came to was Web3SF, and I remember like, yo, if I'm gonna get in, it's not gonna be because I built something crazy, or like I have like a track record of building billion-dollar companies or whatever it is. Like I'm not impressive anyway, like on paper, right? Like I have to prove myself, and like the fastest, there's 2 ways you could do that. Either it's like I could build like something really legit very quickly, which is actually super difficult, or 2, it's like I could just like give to the community more than I take, right? And that's like helping move stuff. Like I remember when like you guys would do the events, like I remember there was a specific event, Zeet and Superbase were doing like a collaboration event, and I helped like take down the chairs, and then at Web3SF I was helping move the stuff from the space over there back to the office.
When did you take the hoodie? The Founders Inc. hoodie.
Dude, I don't remember.
Like you said, you give and take. So.
And then so how I got into Founders Inc. was I was moving stuff from Web3SF back here because after the event was over, and I was in the elevator with Abe. And yeah, and I was like, yo, Abe, and this is after like 3 days of me just like helping set up the event. It's like, I would come literally, like I would come early just to help, and then I would stay late to also just help do whatever, right?
Nice.
So this is day 3, and I was like, Abe, I'm just curious, you're really curious. Like I applied, like I'm just curious, like, do you think that like there's ever a timeline on like when you can hear back from the like application or whatever? I really just want to work out of here. It's really cool. And he saw, I don't know what he saw in me, but he saw something.
It damn sure wasn't the application. So.
Yeah.
That was the worst application I've ever read.
there were some very simple grammatic errors in there.
I've read a lot of applications, man.
No, I was really excited, so I typed it up like while I was driving.
Oh god!
So,
don't be that excited.
Thank God you're still here.
yeah. So yeah, Abe was like, oh, dude, like check your email when you get home today.
Oh shit.
And like he did something on his phone, and I was like, okay, I'm assuming he like maybe fast forward my application or maybe even accepted it or something. That happens, and then so Web3 stuff's over. We get out of the elevator, and as soon as I get out of the elevator, I had put my backpack on the 2nd floor. So I go to the 2nd floor, I open up my backpack, open up my computer, open up Gmail, boom, like there's a accepted into Founders Inc. And I was like, oh shit, this is so sick. This is like, I was like super like proud. I was like really like happy. I was like excited. And at the same time, I saw Furkan walking by, and this is when like people had told me like Furkan is like the guy here, and I was like, yo, Furkan, can I get a picture with you in this thing? And I took this picture. I still have it on my phone.
It's on Twitter too, right?
I don't know if maybe it is on Twitter. Maybe it was.
You
like,
posted it. For
yeah,
sure.
I think it is. And then yeah, it was really cool. So that's how I got into Founders Inc. And pretty much haven't left since. Like been coming probably.
True.
Like I think out of everyone, and no, actually I can't say that because I had to go to school, so that was tough. Like I had to come on.
That
was a
man. You
whole
had to go to
situation.
school.
I mean, it was an 8-hour commute,
I thought it was 6.
and it was tough.
Yeah, it was very tough. Like I would that's.
I mean, well, what your commute was like? What, on Monday you would go to school, and then Thursday you would take a 6-hour train.
Well, so originally, like I was I joined Founders Inc. and it was the summertime, so I was just driving from home, which was already like an hour 30-minute drive one way, so 3-hour commute day, and I was like, okay, that's fine. Like it's worth it, right? Because the value I'm getting out of it is worth. And also, like, by the way, when I drive, it's not like I'm just driving and not being productive. Like
Well, clearly you're applying for things.
Doing applications.
No, I actually really, really love history. So I listen to a lot of history stuff when I'm driving. So right now I'm listening to Roy Kasagani's whole 12-part series on like the start of the Islamic civilization.
Nice.
Like random things like that are really interesting to me.
You do the war stuff?
Huh?
Have you listened
Dude,
to
I
war
love reading about like just like great commanders, great leaders, because you can learn a lot about like their mental and psyche.
Right.
And like when you're driving, like you focus on the road, but you can also like you can conceptualize like the thought process behind a lot of their decisions. And I don't know. Yeah, when school started, it was really, really bad because my school was like 4 hours away, 5 hours away, on train.
6.
Yeah, 6 hours.
Yeah, I can confirm.
Yeah, 6 hours away.
We've definitely done the maps calculation at least 4 times.
We've done this, so
You have, right?
don't worry about it. Yeah.
So it's really far. So I would go to school on Monday, and at this time, like this summer, I was like, oh shit! Like I learned a lot at Founders Inc. I want to keep going because like every day I'm not there, I feel like I'm dying. Like in terms of
my God.
in terms of like I'm not, I'm missing.
Best endorsement for Founders Inc.
You know,
ever.
like it feels like I'm missing out on like people changing the world and missing out on people like sharing like the coolest things ever. Like it's like I don't want to use this analogy, but it's like I'm not gonna use it. Never mind.
I know you gotta
No,
hit us
what
with
was
it.
the
Hit me with it.
analogy?
We'll edit it out if we have to.
It's not a bad. It's just like imagine like this Founders, like I really like cars, so imagine like this is like a luxury car show, but every single day there's a new car, and every day you don't go, you miss out something like that. So that's
sick.
like the way like I think of this
Crazy.
place.
I
Like,
put a toilet downstairs.
yeah, but I don't know. For me, it's like I don't know. I feel like this place is definitely like really, really exciting for me. It's like a place where you've been given all these building blocks, and you can decide however to put them together, and people won't break them down.
Like Legos.
Yeah. So when school started, it was really tough because I had school on Monday through Thursday, which I did on purpose because I wanted to come to the office on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But I never like realized how far my school was, and
Just never realized. You just did the commute every single week for like
no,
5 months.
What I start.
What
So
was that tweet? He's like, I'm addicted to the grind, and then you tweeted,
You're addicted to a 5-hour commute.
and Farza responds to, he's like, bro, he's like, I'm dying.
yeah, so I was working at Buildspace. Well, that's
Right? Yeah, you were.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's after. But I started coming to Founders Inc. During school start. So school started Monday through Thursday. I'm at school, like go to some of my classes, and after that, Thursday night I would take a 6:30 train that would come to Oakland by 12:30.
I got a call once.
And then he would pick you up from Embarcadero, right?
Not Embarcadero. That was
Jack
Jack London Station.
Yeah, Jack London is like super sketch part of Oakland. Yeah. So
You
either
know that one existed.
would get
Omar
calls.
picked me up like 2 times out of the entire year, but usually I would go. So 6:30 to 12:30 I would go,
Okay.
and then when I would get into Oakland, my mom or my dad would come pick me up from there, and it would be another hour drive from Oakland to San Jose. So
Oh, to go home.
yeah, to
Okay.
go home,
Yeah.
and then I'd get home around 1. I would go to sleep. I would wake up the next morning around 7 or 8,
Yeah.
and I would get in the car and drive from 8 to 10:30.
You drive it here.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's 8 till 9 or whatever it is, whatever
Yeah.
the time is, to Founders Inc. I would spend the entire day at Founders Inc. and I would drive back and I'd do the same thing for 3 days, and then Sunday like 6 p.m. I would just go back to Jack London Square, take the same train back, and then once I got to school, I would take an Uber or take a ride with my friends.
And all the while you were maintaining like a really solid C average.
yeah. I had decent grades for
What did you have? For real?
So I had decent grades on everything except math.
Bro, he'd send pictures of people doing his homework for him in his,
I
in his
remember,
dorm.
yeah.
That was math though.
And then we would open it in front of the lab, and everyone would crowd around my laptop to look at the picture. And it was
because you were like
yelling
infamous
for 5
when
minutes.
you first came in.
What?
I'm saying you were infamous.
Bro, tell him the story of what you saw
when
we met him at
like you had a reputation before you even joined Buildspace.
Yeah.
Here.
Well, before I joined Founders Inc.
Yeah.
What was your perception?
Well,
of him?
the first time I met him, he was you were following him around for some reason.
I wept to SF?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I wanted to meet him.
And you were trying to like meet him. I was like, yo, does that dude know you? And you're like, I've never seen that guy in my life. I was like, why is he following you around? It's like so interesting to me. And then all I heard from the background is we're hiring. And he was telling you. And I was like, who's we? And what does that guy do? I was like, this guy's a hustler, man.
Yeah, well, I think you probably have noticed now that if I want something, I'll just ask for it.
Yeah, it's a good trait.
That's how I got this.
True.
Bro,
there's no water in this building, and somehow he has a boxed water.
Dude, I just asked the lady across the street. I was like, "Yeah, can I have it?"
What street? Where?
So what happened was before this podcast, me, him, and Adam, we went to the restrooms on the other side of the building.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. And then he's like, "Bro, it's water."
Oh.
And then he's like, "Can I get a water?" And I'm like, "Please." And then the lady looks and she thinks about it. And he's like, "I just want one." And then she was like, "Okay, you can have it." And he turns around. I'm like, "Thanks."
I mean, all you gotta do is ask sometimes, you know. That's how I got in here. That's how I got this water. That's how I got a lot of things. So.
You know what's interesting? As much as
that's how I got a flight to Austin, Texas, and changed my life.
And Dubai, you spoke with Hasbullah.
I also did that. That was another thing.
Wait, you met Hasbullah?
No, he spoke with Hasbullah.
Yeah,
He spoke. Wait, Hasbullah can speak.
Of course he met
bro.
him.
He was hanging out. He was hanging out
person,
the Saitama crypto club thing. It was cool.
Bro, don't be modest. They flew you out to speak.
They flew me out. They paid for my flights. They paid for hotels in Dubai. For just one YouTube video I made about them, which was really cool. That was awesome.
That's crazy.
That's pretty good. So a year ago, I think a little less than a year ago now, we were sitting in a WeWork in Santa Clara, and we were like, okay, you were like, I'm going to be a full stack engineer because I was like your entire life's goal at that point. I was like already, I think we were just about to like start Fing. So we were like, we had done the podcast, we'd done a few episodes. And so we're hanging out in this WeWork and we're like, okay, we want to build something in like 2 or 3 days. And so it's called Rex.fyi. We got the domain and we were like, okay, we're going to just bang this whole thing out in like 4 or 5 hours.
Oh yeah, we built that in like a day.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and then,
but
I remember for the first 2 hours. So I go into this, I'm like, all right, this guy's, because at that point you had already been doing the Twitter demos and you had already gotten a good amount of traction from the demos. And so I was like, okay, we build this thing. He's going to like post about it. It'll get some good traction. Then we can move on. But
I didn't post about it, right?
You did.
Oh, okay.
But you spent the first 2 hours figuring out what npm install was.
No,
and I was dumbfounded because I was like, how did this guy
that was not
get all of these impressions and all of these followers and all of these views without knowing what npm install was?
No, I remember the day I asked npm install. It wasn't that day. But
I was there.
No, you weren't there. You weren't there.
I was there.
You know who was there? You know who was there? Adam
Alex.
Hodge.
Bro, his name's Adam Madge.
Adam Madge was there. I remember.
You said his name wrong. You said Adam Mahaj.
But actually, that day I wasn't. It wasn't MP. It was. I was trying to figure out how to install Superbase. I was npm Superbase.
npm I install Superbase.
npm I.
Do you know what npm is now?
Yeah. It's a package, bro. I be yarn deving now, guys.
That's crazy.
But yeah. No, I spent the first 2 hours actually watching a YouTube tutorial on how Superbase like worked. You remember, right?
Yeah.
Like, I literally spent 2 hours. I watched like 8 videos in like 3x speed each, and I was like, okay, how does like tables work? How because I'd never built a database. Like it was the first time I literally.
And he built it. He did build it.
I built it. I tried, but yeah. So that's what I did that day.
Speaking of Adam Madge, and I think also it relates to what we're talking about. What would you say? It was a question from him, but it was, what would you say your core skill set is? Because a year ago, it was like, oh, you can like kind of grow anything marketing. But then now you have a product and now you've kind of sat or like taken a seat in the CEO role where you actually have to manage people and you have to manage engineers. What are you good at?
Yeah, this is going to be, I don't know if this is a real skill set, but we were at 8 VC's office like last week.
It's a crazy office.
Yeah, very nice office. For context, 8 VCs, not 8 different VCs. It's one VC. It's called 8 VC.
I know that. Thank you.
And they mentioned one thing that I thought was really interesting. They said there's like 2 types of founders in this world. There's founders that are willing to like build things and like go with the world and figure out what problems they want to solve. And then there's just people that can warp their reality. And I was like, I think that's my skill. Like, I feel like if I want something, I can warp the world to let me have it. And I don't know, like, if you guys, I don't know if that's a skill set, but like, I really genuinely think that if I wanted something tomorrow, I could warp the world into a way where I get that thing.
I have an answer for what his skill set is.
Okay, but before that, you're doing Musicfy. You've got like 10 different attempts or at startups or whatever. Why are you doing all of it?
Because I wanted to be in the community and I wanted to be respected.
Yeah. You want to be respected?
Yeah. And I'm warping my way into it.
Yeah.
But also not just that, I also like want to learn. Like that's really important to me. Like I want to be smarter than I was yesterday. Like I want to do all these things and Musicfy is just like a instrument
to let me do that.
Yeah. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I think he can go into any room with anyone from any background and establish relatability, ask questions in a way that doesn't come off as either condescending or even like undermining, and get along with anybody. And then they'll tell him things, he'll figure things out that most people won't, because people put up barriers if they don't know you.
Yeah. I'm also quite the troll, so people open up a lot.
And then he can combine the dots. So he'll take that information, take some other information he learned, and then he'll put it together really fast. And then he'll give people really good advice.
Advice, yeah.
He's good at advice.
Okay, advice.
What's the best advice you've ever gotten?
The best advice that I've ever gotten, and I've repeated this many times to many people, is like success is 90% just like consistency, and it's 5% luck and 5% skill.
But then what does success look like to you?
For me, it's 5 things.
5 things.
Damn, that's crazy.
A lot of things.
Well, you'll see what I mean in a second. Right. So the 5 things are, I want to be able to do what I want, when I want, with who I want, wherever I want, for however long I want. So complete freedom is the one word for it. But like, I have 5 definitions of what complete freedom are.
But it's interesting because you don't have, okay, so when you set out some of the projects you were doing, even when you started at Buildspace, you never had like a number of like, I want to achieve this salary, or I want to get Buildspace to this. You always just had like if it's fun and I'm growing, I'm just going to grow it to the max possible. And then if it's not fun anymore, you'll just move on.
Yeah.
Right?
I tend to only do things that I enjoy doing, you know?
Like even if it makes money, even if it makes a significant amount of money, if you don't enjoy doing it, you'll move on.
Yeah. I'll probably automate it to the point where I don't need to touch it.
Yeah.
So now fast forward a year, your company makes over $1 a year, and you had an offer for an acquisition that would have made you $1 million. Why would you turn that down?
Well, the offer wasn't enough. That's one thing. Also,
that's wild.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it wasn't. And the other thing is like, I don't want to sell something that I'm not done with. If that makes sense. Like, I think there's a lot more to like, even not in terms of money. I think money is important, and like we're of course making money, but the real thing is like, there's so much I still have to learn in this experience that I haven't. So I want to continue that experience because I'm learning a lot more than a lot of people just because of the scale that I'm doing things at now, you know? Mm-hmm. So you have to like any wrong decision now is like catastrophic because you actually have real people, real things happening, like I am paying someone's rent in Seattle, you know, like that is crazy to think, you know, like if I do something wrong, this person can't pay for his own house, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's like the level of stuff that like things are operating at. And I feel like that's really optimal because like it definitely like makes you think twice about the decisions you make. And it gives you a level of clarity and focus that you don't really get with other things that I haven't gotten before.
Interesting. And another thing that was interesting to me was even after your company was already making, and we can blur this, MRR, you still raised money even though you didn't have to. Yep. And you turned down all these deals, but the one deal you didn't turn down was Uber from F Inc. for a pretty good valuation from like our perspective.
I gave you guys a steal.
It was great.
And the reason I did that is 2 main things. One, the first day I got here, even the day when I was talking to Alex, I was like, okay, I wanna work out of here. Like I wanna be a part of this thing. And I had promised myself that day, like I had literally probably told every single person that was close to me at the time here, that, hey, look, like I'm gonna be a portfolio founder. Like, just watch. And like everyone laughed at me. Like you guys even laughed at. Like a lot of people, they were like, "Oh, they can't take this seriously, right?" It's like you hear it every day from every kid that walks in. Right. Even if it wasn't to prove to you guys anything, it was to prove to myself something. Like, hey, like I said something and did it. So when I had the opportunity, when Founders Inc. reached out and they were like, "Hey, look, like you've been here now for like a couple months and you've built something that's gotten our attention. We're interested now. Like, let's figure something out." And the other part was that this community helped me a lot, right? Like I wouldn't have gotten into tech or anything like that without this. So it's like I wouldn't had built this thing if I didn't have this community. So in theory, I was willing to give like 100% of this company just to Founders Inc. just to be like around.
Come on, Uber.
You know?
And you trust Uber. You look at Uber.
I trust these guys, dude. Like I've talked to them and like they're super inspiring. Like Furkan, Hubert, like these guys are like idols to me. You know, like they're awesome, and I want to learn as much as I can from them. So as soon as I got that, I was really excited, and I was like, "Yo, let's do it." And by this time, I had like multiple offers, like more than and way better offers. Just
Dude
so you
took
guys
a
know.
Zoom call from Beverly Hills and dropped out halfway through.
I took a Zoom call with A16Z on an Uber on my phone. Like that's how many calls we were doing. Like, we had a bunch of calls with a bunch of people, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, I don't need money. But when Founders Inc. was like, hey, look, we want to be a part of this. It wasn't about the money to me. Like, to be honest, we still have not used any of, like, that money is still untouched in our bank account. It is like, we don't need it, right? Yeah. But what was needed was like Hubert and Furkan's like guidance and support and like them being like financially bought in so that like they have something to like push me, you know?
So who are your mentors now apart from Furkan and Uber?
So I have a bunch of mentors. They're not normal. Like you wouldn't think of these people as mentors, but to me they are. Like, you know how I spend a lot of my time actually listening to things that are from people in the past, right? Like I listen to history, right? So like every day I drive a decent amount and I spend an hour and 30 minutes and I could think of it as like me listening to the story of a mentor, you know? Like I have a lot of mentors that are not alive right now. Like for example, one of my favorite mentors ever since I was young is Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, who is like one of the greatest warriors and sultans of the Muslim Empire. And like, dude, that guy is so sick. Like at the age of 17, he was running the whole police force of Syria, Damascus. And like, he also has this very famous quote where he like, if you guys know about Dracula, the character, right? Like that eats people and stuff and drinks blood.
The vampire?
Yeah, the vampire. It's based off of a real person named Draculus, who was like a knight, like a Roman knight. And like this guy, what they would do is they would kill people and then they would eat their bodies, like they were cannibals. And what this guy had done was he and I may be mistaking some of the knowledge here, so can't quote me on any of this, but you could look up the story. So what he had done was he had killed Salahuddin's sister and cut her head off and mailed her head to Salahuddin, right? So this guy, like, he's a king, or he's this leader, and he gets the head of his sister, and it's like, hey, I'm coming to kill you next, right? And so this guy is infuriated, comes and destroys like this guy's entire army, and then he has him on his knees. This guy, and Salahuddin goes, this guy on the floor is like, okay, so you're gonna kill me now. And Salahuddin hands him a glass of water. He drinks the water and he puts it down. He was like, it is not culture for kings to kill kings. And I was just like, wow. Like, he was also a very man of high ethics, and that was really cool. So like, Salahuddin is one of the really cool ones for me. There's a bunch of other stories about him. There's Khalid ibn Walid, who was like also a great warrior. Like when he was dying actually on his deathbed, he has this very famous quote where his son was like crying next to him with his Khalid ibn Walid's head was on his son's like knee, and he was like, "Dad, why are you crying? Like you're passing away peacefully."
You wanted to be a martyr?
No. So then what he does is he shows a piece of his shirt and he moves his shirt and he's like, "There is not a single part of my body where there is a hand span where there's no scar or cut or bruise, but I am dying here on my bed." And like that is why he was crying. Like this guy was wanting to die in the way of like protecting like his community and then there's one last one which is also a really famous one. This is Imam al-Bukhari, who's like a great in Islam we have the hadiths, and he's like one of the greatest hadith writers in the world. He's known for having what we nowadays call like like image like memory. Like he saw something once or he heard something once, he would remember it. And like there's only a few people in history that have had like something like that, and he was one of those really cool people. And like he was also one of the really cool people. So like those are my types of mentors. And like they're all like really interesting, really awesome people. But I also have mentors like Furkan and Hubert. Like they're also awesome. They both do amazing things. My parents are mentors. Both my uncles actually, my mom's dad's brother sold a company for a couple multi 7 figures, 8 figures. And then my dad's brother, he was one of the founding members at Vivotech, which like raised like $200 million in like Series B. So it's like I have like those types of mentors as well. But my favorite mentors that I continuously listen to and all that are definitely like, I don't want to say, it sounds weird to say, but like the people that are not alive. Because like I really enjoy like their stories, you know. You can learn a lot from it.
Can we backtrack a bit to now we established how much money Musicfy makes, obviously, and like how successful it is. It's a fascinating story how it started. Yeah. And the tweet, like go into how you actually created it.
Yeah. I think I was at the office and I was like, oh, look, like at this stage I had been building like 3 or 4 projects every month or like every 2 months maybe. I'd say like 2 projects a month. And then I was like, oh, dude, like this Drake thing, this AI Drake thing is really cool. I wonder how people made it. Yeah. And I remember like a month before I had built this thing called ImagineAI.me, which was like this image to image software where like, for example, if you wanted to create like Lensa, like it was Lensa before Lensa, right? And the problem that I had with that was like I released it and basically it was a site where you could upload your images and create like character images of yourself. So like really cool AI generated images. So people were uploading images on the first day I released it and had like 12 orders, 13 orders. And it was like $300, $200 in the first day. But the problem was I didn't automate the process. So when someone did an order, they would just pay and they would upload their images. And then I would have to send them an email once I finished training a model and sending the images back. So I really messed up because now I had like a backlog of 12 orders that I had to fill before I could write better code to make the model work faster. So I was like, oh shoot, like this is not ideal. And like by the time that I'd done a couple of these orders, like Lensa AI comes out and they're fully automated. Like you get your results in a couple of minutes. Like everyone's like over the moon, right? And I was like, okay, cool, lost that one. That's fine. But I learned that I had gotten the timing right because people really liked it in the first day. Like I didn't have to do any marketing. Like I told like 10 people and like all 10 converted, right? So there was clearly something there with timing, right? Because this tech had just came out and it was like almost prestigious to have like a picture that was generated. And I was like, cool. Next time I see something like that, I'm going to get the timing down, but also I'm going to get the automation part down so I don't have to like mess up. So then I saw the AI Drake thing and I was like, oh dude, this is literally like the same thing because how that worked was it was like a Google Colab and people were just running it on Google Colab and then uploading a vocal file and then converting it. And it was like a really bad UI, UX situation. Like developers would understand how to do it, but not anyone else. So I was like, okay, if I just make a site where people can just upload vocals and convert their voice to Drake, I like already know it's going to go viral just because like it's cool. So why not do it? So I spent, I think I told everyone at this office, I was like, yo, I'm working on this thing. You should apply to the waitlist. And it was like, I got the idea April 10th and by April 20th I had launched. And by the time, April 10th, I also dropped a waitlist on Twitter where I just released this video of, I think, Grimes singing or something.
It was Kanye, wasn't it Kanye?
It was Kanye singing.
It was Kanye singing. And I was like, yo, this shit's actually good.
Yeah. And that one got like a couple, I don't remember, a couple hundred likes, nothing crazy. But like I got people on the waitlist, like in the first day, like 300 people. So it validated my idea. Like people really want this thing. Over the next like 10 days, I had gotten the waitlist up to like 5,000 people. And then I dropped it. And the first day I dropped it, we had like 12,000 users sign up. Nice. And then second day was like 14,000. Third day was like 18,000. And at the same time, by the way, I'm offering this completely for free at the time because I was like, oh, this is cool. So I start like burning money like crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
but there's a few growth hacks you also figured out with the content.
Yeah.
TikTok.
Those go into effect later actually. Yeah. So
okay. Go ahead.
This was purely like just like what I had done was like I found the community of all the hackers that were using the Google Colab and like, hey, how do I fix this bug on this Colab to generate this audio? And I was like, hey, just use this site. Like, you don't need to use this anymore. That's like the original marketing funnel, I'd say, and that was a really big funnel because these were like the hardcore users, right?
Yeah.
Like these guys are willing to dev things out to use it. So they were really easy to onboard because like anything easier than deving was easy for them and good for them. So really quickly onboarded them. After that, wait, where am I now? So I released it very quickly. It starts growing. I start burning money. So like $2,000 in the first day. I was like, oh shoot, like I'm gonna burn money. Next day, $3,000. Next day, $4,000 in burn. And I was like, okay, cool. I probably have to like make money.
Is this all going on just the Mercury?
Personal card, yeah.
You didn't have it in corporation yet.
I know.
That's crazy.
So I was just personal card. And then I was like, okay, I should probably like, I didn't get billed yet, right? It's just like your thing is getting.
You got 30 days to make money, otherwise you
exactly,
get a fat
right?
bill.
So it's like the time is kicking in. And what I did was really like I said, you got to ask people sometimes for favors.
Yeah.
So I hit up the founder of the company that we were running on, Modal, and I was like, hey, look, like we're getting a lot of traffic right now. I'm like 19. I'm using like my personal funds on this, and like I'm willing to put your guys' link on our site and be like, we're powered by you guys, and if you can give us some credits, that'd be great. Dude gives me $6,000 in credits. He's like, yo, I think his message was like, I've been there before too. Keep killing it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, dude, like that's awesome. So I basically had extended the problem till next week. So that was great, and it was really exciting because I added a couple of more voices, and like now we're averaging like 15 to 30,000 signups a day. I think that was a peak. We had like one day we had 28,000 new signups in one day. So you can already imagine like there was people that were using it from the past, but now 28,000 new people came to the site and signed up, like logged in with their Google. So we only allowed Google Auth. We never did like come to our site and you can just use it. You have to log in to use it. So that's 28,000 logged in people, which was really cool. And then I was like, okay, we probably should charge for this because we're burning money. Like I don't, after this week, we're going to like be negative again. So I just came up with this idea, like, let's just make it $1 for like 100 credits. So which is like hella conversions, 100 conversions. Because like, I don't think people are going to convert 100 times, but I do think that we'll have enough people that just pay that it'll cover the cost. So like turn that switch on first day. I think we launched it at 10 p.m. And from 10 p.m. to 12 p.m., that was the first day, and we made like $200. And I was like, oh shoot, this is sick.
Yeah.
So I go to sleep. I wake up the next morning. When I wake up at like 8, we'd made already like $600. And I was like, yo, this is cool. And I remember at the end of the day, we ended up with like $1,200. And I was like, wow. We just generated $1,200 from a $1 subscription. It wasn't even a subscription. It was like $1 time credit thing. And I was like, yeah, this is really good. So that's how we started making money and slowly built out the product to be better. We got a cease and desist as well, which was really.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, I think we can talk about it.
It went away, right?
Huh?
It went away.
I don't think it went away. They just never hit me back. So
it went away.
Pretty much, like we basically got rid of their main ask. They were like, hey, can you take down Drake, Kanye, and all these big models?
The best, bro. You guys sued by Warner, Universal, Sony, everybody.
Yeah, so all the big dogs were on us, which was really like exciting because it was a good thing because like just to know like Farza has gotten a cease and desist.
Yeah.
Hubert's gotten a cease.
Yeah, you went to him and he was like, "Oh, I've been through this."
Yeah. Hubert was actually like, "Yo, you should get rid of these models," and like I was like, "No," and then the next day we got a cease and desist, so we had to get rid of them. So Hubert was like, "I told you, bro, I told you," but it was fine. It was experience. We knew it was coming. We just like were like, okay, whenever it comes, we're gonna just like we're gonna get rid of these models and make this a real tool.
Yeah,
that's what we did. So like as soon as that came in, we literally changed the site up like 6 minutes after the email came in. So I saw the email. I was driving from
Oh God.
Yeah, I was driving. I got the email because I was on a team sync.
Bro.
I was on a team sync while driving, and then
oh God, get this guy off the road.
They were like, "Yo, the email just came in." We were like, "Okay, let's do it." We had already set up the code for the new site. We just like deployed it.
Oh, nice.
And very quickly, like we started funneling people into this like product that was like legit.
Yeah.
We definitely didn't average 25,000 signups anymore, right? Because like we don't offer these voices that a lot of the prosumer consumers are coming for, but we still had a really good top of funnel from people that wanted to just try it out just for the tech itself. Like, convert my voice into a female voice.
It spiked again on Sunday.
This Sunday?
I'm saying that Friday.
Yeah.
It was either that Thursday or Friday. You guys took it down, right?
Yeah.
And I remember being here with you and Subrez called and he was like, yo, did you see the numbers?
Your co-founder?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you picked it up and you're like, what number spike? And then you check the chart and it's like that
with
the paying users.
So
and then we had Cracked and Battered.
Yeah.
Wasn't Cracked and Battered your first company expense?
Our first company expense, yeah. It was lunch for me and Vishal. It's really cool. Once we launched that new site, like we kind of like it became very clear that we weren't here to mess around and build things for fun.
But people stayed. You would have thought, oh, this thing's gonna die if you take away
thought
Drake
like it was like definitely like a 75% chance of death and 25% of chance of not. But it's like if you can hit that 25% part of the area, you can probably do something. But it's very hard to calculate the success rate of that. But yeah, so we figured it out thankfully, and then we also like launched at the same time to subset like actual like organic people coming in from these Discords that were wanting to do Drake stuff.
Yeah.
We just like did a lot of content. So we've done over like 500 million views now on TikTok and like that.
How'd you do that? So go into that.
Yeah. So basically 2 things. One is like on our site, you can train custom voices. So you can train any voice you want, right? If you have permission or we can't look at the data set you upload, right? So it's pretty much how it works. But what we did was we launched the ability for people to train voices the same day that we deleted all the voices. Yeah. So if some people, if they wanted to do whatever, they could do whatever, but we highly like pushed against it. Like it was very clear that this is no longer a toy. Like this is a site for actual use for music production. So in terms of content, there was a lot of TikTokers that were already making like AI Drake and AI Kanye stuff. And they were just doing it for free because they were just going viral on TikTok and they just wanted followers and stuff. And we just hit up like 5 of them and we're like, hey, look, like if you put this affiliate link in your bio, we'll pay you for every person that signs up. And they're like, oh, why not? You know, like they have nothing to lose. So then we launched that and very quickly, like it went from 5 to 10 to 20 to 100, 200. Now it's at 3,000 affiliates that are people that are just organic. Like we now have just a thing on our site. We don't reach out to people unless they're really big now. Where they'll just come to our site, they'll press affiliate, they'll create their own link, and then they'll put in their own bio. And there's one dude that's made like a crazy amount of money. I think he made us like $30K.
Damn.
Yeah, just like he alone made us $30K in like affiliates. So it's like, and that was a specific type of content style. So there's like long form content, there's short form content. Short form content, you can get a lot more views, a lot more users come to your thing, but the value of those users are much lower. The value of users that are coming from high long form content are like, for example, they looked up that video, most likely in long form content, they are much more retentive, much more longer paying users. And so on one video, we had 300,000 views and we got like $20,000 in new money come in just from
300,000 views. 300,000.
Yeah.
How?
Just because that was a long form piece of content, and like the user type that was like watching it were actual producers and artists, and they actually are willing to pay for like the bigger plans we had. So we had yearly subscriptions for like $700 a year, and so like just for comparison, we have like almost like 500 million views on TikTok, but like only like less than 1 million views on YouTube, and YouTube like outcuts like TikTok by a lot, you know. So gonna do a lot more YouTube stuff over the next couple months. I think the goal that I had for September for nights and weekends, this IRL thing, was like I wanted to hit K a month, and I hit that 4 days before September. So
MR.
Yeah, which is RR.
But here's an even bigger thing. I know one of your New Year's resolutions was to learn how to swim.
That's crazy.
I still don't know how to swim.
We have the footage for that.
So you pretty much failed this year.
Yeah. Well, the year's not over yet.
Oh, shit, you gonna learn?
Maybe.
Oh, bro, take swim lessons.
Nah, bro.
Oh, right.
Not ideal.
Damn.
Yeah. I went in a pool. It's just like scary as fuck.
You just don't like water.
No, I like water, but it's like water that's deeper than 6 feet is sus.
Can you float?
No, I can't float. I can't float.
You just get what? You just get rattled?
Rattled?
Like nervous?
No, I just sink. Like, I don't get rattled. I just drown.
Oh, man. Damn. But haven't you surfed?
I've never surfed. You know, just something funny, like Eric Jung, the guy who surfs every day, doesn't know how to swim either.
What? Wait, what?
Yeah, he doesn't.
I don't believe that.
You can ask him.
He can float.
There's no shot.
He's got to be able to
wiped
float.
out by waves. There's no way.
Dude, he swears. He was like, I asked him. I was like, yo, how do you like recover? He was like, oh, I have the thing attached to the board, like his ankle. I'm like, all right.
But still, you need to know how to tread.
He said he doesn't know how to swim, so you could ask him about it. But that's what he told me, and I don't think he was joking. So. But yeah.
What's next? Because you're working with artists, obviously, producers. Like, is there an
game
enterprise
company.
model to this? Like, is it consumer?
Yeah, there's a couple. There's like label to label, selling to labels. I think music is all interesting, and I'm gonna keep building for that. But I also think gaming is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Like, how can we build this tech into gaming? So like, we're launching something very soon. If you're watching this far, you can just look up voicecrafter.ai and you'll see what we're working on.
Oh, it's out.
Yeah, it's live right now, but it's still like really early stages. But it's gonna be like the same type of tech, but like imagine the world's greatest catalog or world's biggest catalog of NPC voices, right? You don't have to hire anyone or do anything. Like, you have millions of NPC voices available to you. But not just that, but like imagine in games you have to create and even in animations, not just gaming, like I have to create sound for stuff. Let's say footsteps, right?
Yeah.
You have to record that and
Thanks for
then
demonstrating.
put that into your game. Imagine you could just generate it with text, and not just like simple stuff like footsteps. What if it was like a man running through a bush while it's raining? Like, that would actually be really hard to just make with sound, right? Yeah. But imagine you could just generate it. So we're working on a couple of things that are going to allow you to do that pretty soon, and we're talking to a couple of big game companies that are hopefully going to adopt that piece of tech, and we're going to save them a lot of money, like we saved musicians a lot of money.
So one of my kind of closer friends, his name is Malik. You know him.
Yep.
Apparently, when we were like 15, 16, he told you about me, and he told me about you. And somehow we never met.
Yeah.
Same. But how has your friend circle kind of shifted over the last year? You left school too.
Yeah, taking a break. Yeah. I think friend circle shifting. I think last high school, I was. I think most of my friends were like soccer people that I was playing soccer with, just because if I do something, I do it very obsessively. So I would surround myself with the people that are also doing it at a pretty obsessive scale. So very quickly, like school ended, right? Soccer's no longer a thing. Everyone's going to different colleges, partying, whatever. You have to find your tribe. And I realized I didn't have a tribe. And I tried to find people that were like really interesting to me. So like I said, like throughout my life, I've always had I've always thought in some way like these people that I listen to like all the time. By the way, not when I'm driving, even when I sleep, every night I sleep, I listen to like a story about like someone. Like, cool.
That's cool. While you're sleeping.
Even I swear to God, like I put a 30-minute timer and I'll listen to a story while I sleep. And I probably listen to like more like stories and stuff than music. Like, that's how much I listen to stuff. And I think that was my tribe for a really long time. Like these people that have been like Nelson Mandela, like literally like these crazy people that most people don't. You're never gonna get the chance to meet these people, but because of how much I was listening to like what they did, how they did things, why they did things, I felt like I could understand their minds. Like I could instantly just tap into like why what Nelson Mandela would do in this situation, or what Khalid Ibn Walid would do, or what Salahuddin would do. Like I feel like I could conceptualize based off of their past decisions, like what they would do in this specific scenario. So I thought that was my tribe for a really long time. I didn't really talk to a lot of people, which is fine because I was doing other things. But very quickly, when I came to Founders Inc., I realized like, yo, these people are really, really smart. And I've always wanted to surround myself with really, really smart people. So very quickly, like the people here became my tribe. Nice. It was like really quickly. And I think it was like very quick for, everyone adopted me really quickly because I also have a lot of energy, like a lot of energy. Like I also, I don't know, I have a lot of energy. People were excited to see someone really energetic about being here every day.
Do you want to do the tweets before I end things off?
Tweet. I have something better than tweets, bro.
You got something better than tweets?
So I have your LinkedIn.
Oh,
and
God.
We're just going to read this and you're going to facts or cap.
Factor cap with his own LinkedIn.
You ready?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure everything there on is facts.
CEO and founder of Money Up.
Yeah,
Facts.
I run that.
All right. Helping over 600 teens and entrepreneurs.
Real estate. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Understand stocks, cryptos, I don't know what that is, marketing, NFTs, and real estate. Team of over 11 members working for free from social media marketing to stock analysts. Why do you have that in there?
Working for free?
Yeah.
I could probably move it. But it was just like me and my friends. But I built this thing for fun where I was teaching people how to.
You had over 11 members?
No, 11 team members, bro. Literally like friends working with me. Like people in the Discord was like 600, and probably how much money he was making, like $1,000 a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
24 vintage, CEO and founder, but he's part-time. I don't understand. Okay. Men's jewelry specializing in men's chains and rings with variation of 15 different products. Focus on bring the best quality for the best prices. That doesn't make sense. I package, process, advertise, and ship all products.
Yeah.
MRR.
It was like not that much. That was like probably the worst thing I've ever done.
Oh,
it was like $200 a month. It's very bad.
Damn.
In revenue, maybe profit.
All right, now we get to the good stuff. Head of marketing. Part-time somehow. Open Pool.
I don't think I ever like realized you could switch from part. Like I didn't realize there was a thing for that. Yeah, I worked at Open Pool for a bit.
This is the best. All right. Forget about Open Pool. Core team. That's his title. Buildspace.
Yeah, because there was like no
have,
actual
like,
titles.
Oh, he's full-time though. He's full-time here.
Nice.
Yeah, we didn't have titles. It was just like you work there or you don't work there.
Building the future of education with friends.
Yeah.
180K plus students around the world. Raised $10 million Series A backed by A16 plus Y Combinator. Nothing about his role.
Yeah, I think that's fine. This is when I
that's
learned
like startups too. Like in
style.
general, people will just post about the company, not what they do,
That's
because it changes
crazy.
so much.
The best of the most modest is the Musicfy one.
What is it?
It's just Musicfy builds AI tools for artists plus musicians around the world. We have over 1 million users worldwide and are profitable. Backed by Founders Inc. And then there's just a Leap picture.
Is there a Leaf picture?
Yeah, why is there a picture of Leaf?
I think it's a partnership picture.
That's crazy. That all the things you highlight, you have a Leap picture.
I think Leap is really cool. I really like Leap.
That's
Shout out
great.
Claudio.
You sold the
Alex.
company to Leap.
I did.
What was the company?
It's called Background.lol.
How much do you sell it for?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Just say the figures. Just say the figures.
How many figures?
How many figures?
Higher or lower 4 figures?
It was like five figures with decimal points.
With decimal points. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
High 5 figures.
With decimal
High
points.
5 figures with decimal points.
With decimal points.
Basically 6 figures. I mean, at that
I
point,
think
you're
he's a-
basically 7 figures.
He's a millionaire, but with decimals.
Basically,
This is like the 5'11", 6 feet. Like
Yeah.
It was one of those things. Yeah, but no, it was a fun thing.
All right, last question to end things off. So this is actually a question from Karen.
Let's do it.
Can we say who Kieran is?
Yes, you want
Karen
to
is Furkan's wife. She's awesome. She helps run a lot of the things here at Founders Inc. Especially, she's the reason that we have good chai here. Great chai, actually. And
She makes it herself.
awesome
Best
person.
chai I've ever had.
Probably one of the nicest people you ever meet. Shout out, Karen.
And on top of making chai, she designs all of.
She designed the entire place.
Also, great merch designer. Shout out.
Phenomenal. BD, Mr. Baron Davis. Loved the merch. Went home with it.
Yeah.
And so
Shout
her
out
question,
Karen. Yeah.
her question was, what is your philosophy for life and what goes on in there?
Oh, that's a deep question.
What is a philosophy of life? Like, what is it?
What is yours?
No, but what is the definition of a philosophy of life?
I don't know, man.
Like, what makes you happy? What makes
It's
you
up to your
drive?
interpretation.
Up to interpretation.
What drives me to wake up tomorrow? Like, is that the question, or
Good question.
I don't know. I mean, it depends.
Why do you
on,
think people exist? Why do you exist?
Yeah, I think the reason we exist is of two things. One is like give back to the world. I don't know, in some way, hopefully. Like I watched this interview of someone that was they were asked the question like, do you think other people are better than others? Like,
Yes.
like are there? Yeah. So in terms of how much you do for the world, yes, but I think being better than other people depends. It's like a very ambiguous like, statement. It depends, right? So it's like I don't know. I think our reason to be here is just like do things that move the world forward, and at the same time enjoy the journey while you're doing it.
That's crazy.
And I'm doing the second right now. I'm enjoying the journey, but hopefully I can do the first one day.
We didn't even talk about giving food back to Pakistan.
Huh? 10,000 people he fed.
You fed 10,000 people.
There was a rickshaw with his logo on it.
No,
There was?
That was high.
Wasn't
Oh yeah,
there?
there was.
That was
there was.
direct.
Hirect?
I mean, we both had rickshaws on things. We both had logos on rickshaws.
We had one too.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, Project Iftar, shout outs.
That's crazy.
Next year we'll do it bigger, 100,000 people. All right.
None of this going in while you're looking at the
This is
camera.
going in.
You know
No,
who
this has
donated?
to
You
go
know who
in.
donated? Furkan. Shout out Furkan, bro.
Hold him accountable. This is going to go in.
Shout out
It's
Furkan.
100,000 people.
Hit the outro.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you like, subscribe, and comment. And comment Will DePew. Peace.
Oh, I like it.